We now go back to the Niger Delta area, where Arise News correspondent Theophilus Agidi joins us now from Bayelsa State. Theophilus, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. We understand you have with you the Commissioner of Youth and Sports Development. Can you bring us up to speed on what's happening there? Theophilus, if you can hear me, we understand that you have the Commissioner of Youth and Sports Development with you there to speak to us on what's happening in Bayelsa State.
Well, it's good to be back with you guys, Awa and Timi Tokwe. I have here with me the Commissioner of Youth Development, Alfred Kemepado, and he will speak to us on some of these issues which I believe may have prompted the development that we are now witnessing today. Alfred Kemepado, you're welcome on the Arise News channel.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you talk to us? We see a lot of the protesters, some of the protesters we have seen rather here that came out were young people. What do you think necessitated their action today?
Basically, let's also just first thank them for how they comported themselves. There's no any form of violence or anything as we can see, but the issues are general. You know, there are things we can't pretend about. There's hunger. There are excruciating issues of hike in fuel price, and the related issues that is affecting, you know, the cost of living, making it very high. But like I keep talking to them in their cells and differently, the solution to the problem is not in the protest. We just have to dialogue. We have to constructively and continually engage so that the youth population, especially here, can be part of that productive solution. The major problem is that we are still a country that is underproducing. That's a major problem. So almost everything is import dependent, including the oil, the petroleum, for which we're buying for an exorbitant price that is affecting every other thing. So as a government here in Bayelsa State, we can relate with the reality. It's true that people are going through a lot, you understand? But the solution to it is not in the protest on the road, especially now that protest is assuming the dimension of violence as we have seen in other places. So it's not what we produce, because at the end of the day, it's the poor that will even suffer more. So we don't need to suffer more. We don't need to add to this current suffering. We need to just move forward. It's our continuous appeal, please.
Can you tell us some of the cushion that the Bayelsa State's government has been providing to ensure that these young people of the younger generation who are becoming more aggrieved, so that what cushion is the government provided to ensure that they are, they are captured?
At the moment, of course, we are in the process. We have done some of creating various business hubs, okay, and to ensure that we get the young people productive. This is a state that can take advantage of production of many agri-related products, including taking advantage of the aquaculture. Of course, you know, I've just been Commissioner for Youth for about a month. So that's our policy direction, and that's what we are pursuing so that we can begin to produce. Because at the end of the day, the cause of the protests in most parts of the country is hunger, okay? And what are the staple foods that we eat here? Gari, rice, yam, tomato, and many other things. These are all the things that can be produced here. So the direction of the current youth ministry under the prosperity administration of Governor Doyejiri is to ensure that we concentrate on 100% feeding Bayelsa and even feeding and extending to feeding other parts of the country. So by then, we are not only providing food, we'll have them constructively engaged. That's what we are doing already. That's our policy direction. But of course, you know, the leap You know, dollar was 700, today it's 1,600 plus. Petroleum was a particular price at a particular, now it's about 900, some places 1,000. You know, that sudden leap, you understand, is something that desires more hard work to catch up with, you understand, which has brought the multiplier effect on many other things. But what we are telling the youths in Bayelsa and mostly in other places is it's not in the street. But you see, we must commend Bayelsa. Largely everybody is going about his duty, everybody is moving. Just, you saw it, a few people came out to ventilate these things that we have expressed, which is their legitimate right, you understand? But largely, we must commend Bayelsans who showed our markets are open, our offices are open, the banks are open, everywhere. This is about the most peaceful state in this country, arguably. So I thank the youth for maintaining that peace over here in Bayelsa, and we will continue to maintain it because it's on that we can continue to prosper our programs of production that will take care of us 100% and even beyond Bayelsa. So I thank.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Theophilus.
Alfred, there's something about
I'm not sure if you can hear us. I know we're talking over each other, but we have to go. Thank you so much for the update. Well, we move now to Port Harcourt for more of our coverage of the end bad governance protests in Nigeria. We have Andy Omano live on the ground and giving us updates. Thank you for joining us, Andy. Can you let us know what is happening right now?
Okay, thank you so much for coming back to Port Harcourt. We left the epicenter of the protest, if I'm allowed to use that expression. That's the main entrance to Government House about an hour ago. And what we did was to take a drive through major streets in Port Harcourt. And what I must report quickly is the fact that everybody, a couple of other residents of this garden city are out of their homes, going about their normal businesses, unlike in the morning hours where you can count residents at your fingertips. More people are already out of their houses and they are trying to see how they can eke out a living. We had the opportunity of talking with a vulcanizer who told us that, look, except he works, he's not going to get anything to feed his family. So he needed to just, stuck out his neck for him to be able to get something today, even if the day is already fast spent. But no sooner we left that vulcanizer, we were on NTA Road. NTA Road is the way leading to Obirikwere on your way to the Port Harcourt International Airport, located in Omagwa. We ran into, they were between 50 to 70 young youths who were also taking their own pound of flesh. What do I mean by that? They said they need to also protest, even if the governor had addressed the mammoth crowd that gathered at the main entrance to Government House, that they needed to protest to also drive their message home that they are not comfortable with the economic hardship that their parents are being made to go through, because that unintentionally had affected their way of life. Salaries are not being paid according to them, and they think they just need to be part of the protest. But one thing I must add quickly was that security operatives, men of the Nigeria Police and the Civil Defense Corps, were on hand to make sure that they didn't get out of track, as it were. But generally speaking, after that address by the executive governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, at main entrance to Government House, the youths has retreated to their different destinations. Remember, if you watch that video where Arise had the opportunity of taking the governor live, even after that public address, the youth did say that they were not ready to collect anything. All they expected from whether local, state, or the federal government is the fact that the right thing is done in order to alleviate the hardship that a good chunk of Nigerians are going through currently. So that's the situation report from here as we speak. Nobody can tell what is going to happen between now and evening. And if there is anything that we needed to let the live studio of Arise News get to know after this live crossing, we won't just hesitate to bring that on board so that we can take Nigerians, keep Nigerians abreast, I should say, of developments from Rivers State. Over.
Well, Andy, just before we let you go, I'm wondering if the address by the governor is enough to calm all frayed nerves, and actually make the protest fizzle out, or are you maybe expecting that protesters will still be out on the streets tomorrow, saying as the protest is actually meant to last for 10 days?
Okay, that's a very, very apt question. Is that address by the governor likely going to end the protest so that the 9 days that we're expected to run, because we all know that the organizer said it's going to last for 10 days in the first instance. I see one or two persons wanting to also protest tomorrow, because I must add quickly that no sooner we left the governor's, we left the main entrance to Government House, we ran into a presser, that's a press conference addressed by the civil society organization in Rivers State. And what was their bone of contention? Their bone of contention was that, look, that they did not protest. It's not to mean that they have chickened out or they are cowards, but they got intel a couple of days to today that we're going to cash in on this protest in order to foment trouble and destroy critical infrastructure in Rivers State. And they would not want to be part of that. That was why they did not protest. But if by tomorrow the situation is the way it is without
Andy, sorry to cut in and interrupt you, but we are out of time. You know how it goes on this side of the desk. Thank you so much for joining in and for giving us those updates from Port Harcourt.